Hi guys, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, my name is Carmen. Welcome. So I've gotten a lot of questions from you guys about what careers are the best for your particular life path number. So your life path number in numerology basically determines your main purpose in life and the main reason you were born. So you can definitely use your life path number to help guide you in the right direction as to what would be the best career for you, what would be the best thing to kind of do with your life. Now also you want to take a look at your soul's urge number as well, because your soul's urge number kind of is what your soul is calling you to do. And a lot of time this number helps to determine basically what brings you happiness in life and what will make you happy. So you kind of want to look at both of those numbers, the life path number and the soul's urge number, because both of those together really help to determine basically what your purpose is in life and what will bring you happiness in life. And if you don't know what your numbers are, check out a video I did on how to calculate these numbers in just a few minutes. It's super easy, so I'll put a link to that below. Now you can also book a reading with me and I can go into the specifics in your individual chart and give you some more individual guidance as to what would be the best career and life path for you based on your numbers. So if you're interested in that, I will leave a link to that below in the description box. So these are basically the positives and negatives of number one. And if you want a more detailed description of all of these, check out the video I did on this. The link to that will be in the numerology playlist, and I'll put a link to that below. But the main thing to understand with the number one energy is that these people do not like being told what to do. They have very good leadership skills and they like to be the one that's kind of in charge. So a lot of these careers are going to be based on that principle. They also like to be very unique and original in what they do. So good careers for them are going to be in law enforcement, and that's anything in law enforcement, including police officers, detectives, military officers are great. That's a great job for them. Business owner, an entrepreneur, something that they have started themselves. Politicians, like I said, they make great leaders. Attorneys, administrators, so administrators in all areas, that can be in healthcare, education, they make great principals of schools, that kind of thing. Inventors, they like to create things, they're very creative, they want to be the first to do something, so inventors. Influencers, they like to have an impact on other people and affect them with their actions. University professors, because they are basically leading a group of students in academic thought. Property managers, any sort of manager is going to be good for them. Personal trainers, any sort of training where you're training another person is going to be great. Venture capitalists, retail managers, sales representatives, real estate brokers, management consultant, any sort of government officials. Human resources is great for them because they basically are doing the hiring and the firing of a large company, and that gives them a little bit of control. So that's going to be good for them. And also any sort of executive is going to be good for them because, you know, like I said, in all of these careers, they basically are kind of the boss, and these careers allow them to have a lot of control and autonomy over themselves. So that's why these are good careers for people with the one energy. So leave a comment below if any of this resonated with you or if you have any questions. Also, let me know if there's any other careers that are good for the one energy that I might have missed. And if you like this video, click like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. So these are the positives and negatives of number two in numerology. If you want a more detailed explanation on this, check out my video that I did. I'll put a link to that below in the Learning Numerology playlist. But basically, the main thing you want to take away from this, these people make great team players and they're really good at working with other people. If they're on the positive side of the number, they can be highly empathic and highly intuitive to other people's feelings and needs. So great careers for them are counselors, and that includes guidance counselors, career counselors, any sort of counselor. Coaches, they're really good at coaching other people. They make great psychologists, and they make really good diplomats. They can be very diplomatic, and so They're good at mediation. They're really good mediators between two sides that are opposing. They make good nurses. They make great massage therapists. That's because they're very attuned to other people's needs, so they're really good at taking care of other people. Human resources is another great career for them because there's a lot of counseling involved in that. Anything with conflict resolution is going to be great for them because these people are basically peacemakers and they can see both sides of the argument. They also make great social workers and they make great therapists, all kinds of therapists. Marriage and family therapist, physical therapist, occupational therapist, speech and language therapist, which is actually my career. I'm a speech and language therapist. But basically the two energy, they're just really good at providing that support to help people. And they're just especially working with people one-on-one if they're on the positive side of the number. And so this also includes recreational therapist, nutritionist, custody mediators, addiction specialist, and arbitrators. So basically all careers where they're just kind of helping another person to kind of rehabilitate the other person. So leave a comment below if this resonated with you and click like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. So these are the positives and negatives of number 3 in numerology. If you want a more detailed explanation about all of this, check out my video that I did. I'll put a link to it below in the Learning Numerology playlist. So basically what you want to understand with these people is that they're usually very highly creative and really into some sort of form of creative expression, whether it be art or something else like that. And they're usually really good at communicating, and they're good public speakers if they're on the positive side of this number. And they tend to be very social if they're on the positive side of this number as well. So great careers for them make writers. They make really, really good writers, journalists, graphic designers, web designers, interior designers and interior decorators, architects, right? Because architects are designing buildings. They make great musical artists and photographers, illustrators. They make great art teachers or teachers of some other form of art that they're into. So like if they're into music, they make great music teachers. If they're writers, they make great writing teachers. They make good art curators and public speakers. Not all the time, but sometimes they can be really good at public speaking. Actors and directors. Comedians, they tend to have a great sense of humor. They can make people laugh, and they make good producers, and they make great performance artists. So they have the potential to be good at all areas of the entertainment industry. Also an art valuer or an art auctioneer. Public relations, anything in PR can be good for them. Fundraising and development for corporations or organizations where you have to be social and you have to get out and convince people to basically, give money to your cause or to your nonprofit organization. Retail buyers, makeup artists, and hairstylists, because these people tend to be very artistic. So, the makeup artist and hairstylist is a great practical use of that. So leave a comment below if any of this resonated with you or if you have any questions. And click like and subscribe if you like this video, and I'll see you in my next video. So these are the positives and negatives of the 4 energy. If you want a more detailed explanation on this, check out the video that I did. I'll put a link to that below in the Learning Numerology playlist. But basically the main thing you want to understand about these people is that they tend to be very hardworking and very focused, and they're very practical and logical in their thinking. So any sort of career where a lot of work has to be put into it in order to have that career usually is going to be good for them. Anything where you have to focus your energy. So, and they also tend to be very business-minded people because they're very organized and they're just very detailed. So they make great business owners. Anything in real estate is good for them. Loan officers, attorneys, judges, they tend to be very, very fair. They're very honest people, so a judge is a great thing for them. They're great at managing things, so any sort of manager is good for them. Manager of a store, manager of a restaurant, any sort of manager. A contractor is good. They're good at building things. Anything in construction is good, a construction manager or a construction worker. They also make great stockbrokers and accountants because they have a very practical and logical mind. They're good with finances, so they tend to be great financial advisors and financial analysts. They're really good at air traffic controlling, and they make good air traffic controllers because that requires a lot of focus to do that, and it's a lot of hard work. And so, yeah, they're one of the few numbers that can do that. I've also noticed that a lot of physicians and dentists tend to have this number, and I think that's because it's just so much work to become a physician or a dentist or a pharmacist that, you have to have a number that's willing to put in that work to go into this kind of career. So for that reason, you do tend to see a lot of people with this number in those professions. They also make great engineers because they're very logical in their thinking, and they make great statisticians as well for the same reason. You will also see them as inspectors and auditors as well a lot of times. So leave a comment below if any of this resonated with you, or if there's other careers that you think the 4 energy would be really good at. Let us know below. And if you like this video, click like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. So these are the positives and negatives of number 5. If you want a more detailed explanation about this, check out the video that I did on this. I'll put a link to it below in the Learning Numerology playlist. But basically the main thing to take away with these people is that they're very charismatic and they're very charming, and they also tend to like to have some excitement and to have fun. So for that reason, they make great sales representatives. So anything where they're having to sell something, no other number can sell it like a number 5. So they are good at all areas of sales, and that includes real estate agents, advertising executives, insurance agents, medical device sales, pharmaceutical sales. I mean, you name it. They are just, they can just win people over so easily because they're so charismatic and fun. And it's fun for them to get that sale. When they sell something, then it's like, that's exciting for them that they were able to do that. Now, they're also usually very friendly, and they like people, and people like them as a result. So basically anything where they're working with the public is going to be good for them. Now, they make great lobbyists. They also make great vloggers. They can influence a lot of people through vlogging, and, because they like to travel, that's a good one for them. That charisma is great on camera. So, for the vlogging, and then also if they wanted to be like a news anchor, that's good. A news reporter is good because with the news, especially the news reporters that like travel around, that's really good for them because they love to travel. Because of their need to travel and to kind of explore the world, they make great airplane pilots, and they make great flight attendants. They also make great travel agents and aid workers, because aid workers kind of have to like travel all over the world to help people. So they also make great foreign service officers because of this reason. For this reason, they also make great tour guides and sports instructors, especially instructors for some of the more extreme sports. So 5s tend to get into the more extreme stuff, like you'll see them snowboarding and skiing and surfing because they're kind of like adrenaline junkies in some way. Not all of them, but most of them have a need to do things that are exciting. So they also make great English teachers abroad. So these are teachers that move to other countries and teach in elementary schools, and they teach the children of that country English. It gives them a chance to, explore and get to know another culture, which is really good for them. They love that. Yacht sailing workers. So these are the people that work on yachts that sail around the world. And lastly, they make great bartenders because bartenders have to deal with the public, and they have to be very charismatic and good with people, and 5s are really good at all those things. So leave a comment below and let me know if this resonated with you, or if there's any other careers that you believe would be good for the 5 energy, and because I think that could help a lot of people. So let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, click like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. So these are the positives and negatives of the number 6. If you want a more detailed explanation on all of these, check out the video that I did about this. I'll put a link to it below in the Learning Numerology playlist. But the main thing to understand about people with this energy is that they tend to be very helpful. they tend to be service providers, and they tend to be very domestic. So kind of think of them as like the mom or the dad. So they kind of have that mom or dad energy. So for this reason, they make good school teachers and teachers' aides. Because they tend to be caregivers and service providers, they make great firefighters and first responders like EMTs and paramedics. They make really good nurses because they just have that great ability to be able to care for other people. A lot of times you'll see physicians with this number in their charts, physicians and veterinarians. And that's because there's something about the 6 energy that is just very healing. These people tend to want to be healers. So healers as physicians and nurses, but they can also be spiritual healers. So they make really good Reiki healers and crystal healers, acupuncturists, massage therapists, quantum healers, and hypnotherapists, which are all included in the umbrella of spiritual healing. They also tend to be good business owners, and that's because 6s usually are not happy working for other people. They tend to be happier working for themselves, and they kind of like to be in control of themselves, or kind of like in control of the people that they're taking care of, right? Because they have that mom and dad energy. So for this reason, they make great business owners. They also make great chefs and homemakers and daycare providers. They're very domestic, so anytime that they're kind of like in charge of, anything domestic, like a homemaker would be kind of like being in charge of their home, that is something that they're usually good at. And daycare, because they tend to be good with kids. 6 is also the number of beauty, so anything in regards to making environments or making things beautiful would be great careers for them, and that includes interior design, makeup artist, and hairstylist. They also tend to be musical as well, and they get this because they, 3, 6, and 9 tend to have this all in common with each other. They all tend to be just, very musical, and they have a musical talent. Because of their great ability to provide service to other people, they make great therapists. All kinds of therapists, and that includes physical therapist, occupational therapist, speech and language therapist, which is my career, that's what I am, and also recreational therapist. So let me know in the comments below if any of this resonated with you, and if there are any other careers that you think would be great for the 6 energy, because it could help a lot of people. So let us know in the comments below, and if you like this video, click like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. So these are the positives and negatives of number 7. If you want a more detailed explanation about these, check out my video that I did on this topic. I'll put a link to it below in the Learning Numerology playlist. But basically, the main thing to understand about this number is that it's a highly intellectual number and highly introspective number. So any career involved in the intellectual fields, the academic fields, or the spiritual fields tend to be good for them, because those are all careers where the mind and introspection is required. So 7s can make great scientists, and that includes all kinds of science, astronomers, geologists, meteorologists, all kinds of scientists. They also make great researchers, especially scientific researchers. They make great psychologists because they're very analytical in their thinking, and they're great at analyzing people. They also make great university professors. And a lot of times you'll see them with like PhDs and like all these advanced degrees because they enjoy that. They're like lifelong learners, they always like to learn. And they also make great engineers because they tend to be very mathematical in their thinking, and they can be very logical in their thinking. So a lot of times you'll see engineers with this number, and that includes all kinds of engineers, including software engineers and software developers. They're great at inventing things, and sometimes you'll see them as inventors, analysts, anything where they're analyzing and using their analytical abilities. They make great pharmacists, gemologists, and even writers because of their great introspective abilities. Now, 7s that are on the spiritual side, which is probably most of you guys, since you're watching this video. The sevens that are on the spiritual side of the number make great psychics and mediums, and a lot of times psychics will have this number in their chart. Spiritual teachers and yoga instructors, they make great astrologers and numerologists, and they make great hypnotherapists, and also they make great life coaches. And they also make really good Reiki healers because of that spiritual energy that they have. And so if they're not into the esoteric parts of spirituality, then usually they'll be religious. And if they're on the spiritual side of the number. So for those sevens, they make good priests, rabbis, reverends, pastors, nuns, and monks. Another thing that's common with the seven energy is that a lot of times sevens that are more sciencey and on the science side of the number will come over to the spiritual side, and they'll have, like, you know, spiritual awakenings and start to have a faith in something. That's kind of what happened to me. My life path is a seven, and I was a very science-based number seven. I'm a speech-language pathologist, which is a very science-based career. We work with people that have communication disorders, from things like brain damage or autism. And I became more spiritual and I became more faith-based as time went by. And so, it's very common for this to happen with sevens, where they don't just, they're not just on one side, they move over to the other side, and a lot of times they become both. So you will see that a lot with this number. And so it's very common for sevens to kind of have like a change in career, kind of at some point in their life, where they kind of just switch over onto the other side of the number, or do it on the side. That's very common with them. So if you're one of those sevens, just know that it's okay to do that. It's perfectly fine, and it happens quite a lot with this number. So let me know in the comments below if any of this resonated with you, and if there are any careers that you also think would be good for the seven energy. Let everybody know, because I think it could help them. So if you like this video, click like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. So these are all the positives and negatives of number 8. If you want a more detailed explanation about all of these, check out the video that I did about this. I'll put a link to it in my Learning Numerology playlist below. But basically, any career involving money, power, and authority is going to be good for the 8 energy, because that's what 8 is all about: money, power, and authority. So an investment banker is a great career for a life path 8 or someone with the 8 energy. An investor, a stockbroker, any kind of executive, so like a CEO or a CFO of a company is going to be good. They tend to be great at managing people, so any kind of manager is going to be great for them. Real estate broker, real estate developer, those are all things that involve money. The 8s are really good with money. They're just very financially minded, and they're very business minded. So they make great loan officers, they also make great bankers, and they make great attorneys. So as I previously stated, these are business-minded people. They have this in common with the 4 energy. They are also business-minded as well. So they make great business owners, especially if they're entrepreneurs, and if it's like a business that they started on their own by themselves. You'll see this with them a lot. They're great venture capitalists. You will often see them as administrators. So like administrators of healthcare, administrators in education, so like principals, superintendents, that kind of thing. Politicians, because politicians often have power and authority. So politics could be a good thing to get into for that reason. And now, like I said, all things involving money, so they make great financial managers, financial advisors, financial traders, and financial analysts. They also make really good athletes, and I've looked at the charts of a lot of famous athletes, and a lot of them tend to be life path number 8s. Very strange, yeah. But yeah, you'll often see athletes with this number. So, and that could be because, there's power and there's recognition within that. But yeah, often you will look at the charts of people just, that are successful in general, and a lot of times they'll be 8s. So 8s really can be successful in any area that they choose. It doesn't have to be in money, and it doesn't have to be in regards to business and power. So whatever area that you want to get into, just know that having this 8 energy makes you more prone to be successful in whatever that is. Now, remember, there's two sides of the coin though, because on the flip side of the negative side of this number, you have 8s that just cannot master that level of success. They just struggle and struggle, and they have a lot of problems with money, and they have a lot of problems with with having that success that they were born to have. So keep that in mind with this 8 energy, and definitely check out my video on the positives and the negatives of number 8 if you haven't done so already, because that will give you some tips on some things you can do if you happen to be on the more negative side of this number. So leave a comment below and let me know if there's any other careers that you think would be great for the 8 energy. And also if any of this resonated with you. And if you like this video, click like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. So these are the positives and the negatives of number 9. If you want a more detailed explanation about all of these, check out the video that I did about this. I will put a link to it below in the Learning Numerology playlist. But the main thing you want to understand about this number is that people with this energy tend to be humanitarians, they tend to be service providers, and they tend to be very highly empathic and intuitive, and they tend to be old souls. So, because they are highly empathic and intuitive to other people's feelings and needs and emotions, they tend to be great therapists. And that can be therapists in any area, right? It could be especially like marriage and family therapists. They tend to be really good at that because they really are good at counseling. So they have good counseling skills. They can make good psychologists. A lot of times you'll see people with this number that are physicians. So physicians and nurses, because they have this in common with number 6. They tend to be helpers and they tend to be service-oriented people. So they can also make great nutritionists, veterinarians, grant specialists is another one, firefighters, and first responders, which is something they have in common with the number 6. They also tend to be good at music, and they have musical talent. So, like you'll often see musical artists with this number. Any jobs related to helping the community are going to be good for this energy. They want to get involved in causes that are kind of like greater than themselves. And, they like to be involved in something big that's affecting like the world usually. So a lot of times they'll be involved in the environment, so jobs related to the environment are good for them. So like an environmental engineer would be a great profession. Anything involving human rights, so like a human rights activist, a human rights attorney would be good. Or an attorney that helps people, in some sort of way, like, the lawsuit attorneys that, sue companies that have hurt people in some sort of way. So that kind of attorney would be good. Foreign aid worker, social worker, children's advocate, any sort of advocate profession where you advocate for other people is good for the 9 energy. Politician, a lot of them will get into politics for good reasons, not because they're in it for the power and the authority, but because they genuinely want to like make a difference and help the world. And lastly, 9s tend to be old souls, as I had mentioned. They tend to be highly connected to the spiritual world. They have this in common with master number 11. And for this reason, they can often go into the fields that are psychic related, such as being a psychic and a medium. A lot of famous psychics and mediums are life path number 9s. Like John Edward is a life path number 9. And they have that ability. They can tap into it if they really want to go there. It's possible for them. Also, anything esoteric like an astrologer and a numerologist also is great for them if they have that desire and that passion for spirituality. So let me know in the comments below if there are any other professions that you think would be great for the 9 energy that I might have missed. Also, let me know if any of this resonated with you. And if you like this video, click like and subscribe. and I will see you in my next video. And you can also book a reading with me, and we can go more into depth and more into detail into the specifics of your chart. If you want some more guidance in this area, I will leave a link to that below in the description box. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and definitely subscribe if you haven't already. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. And I want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video today. I'm sending you light and love, and I will see you in my next video. Take care.